Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Wanted to share this quick and easy video with you guys. I made these recently for some of the teachers in my children's school. I used Honeybee Stamps Crayon Box Honey Cuts Wafer Die Set. I did a video using these a couple years ago. I forget when it was. But yeah, used them before. Still had them in my stash, and I thought these would kind of be the perfect little theme for me to use to present some gift cards for the end of the year. So I did a ton of die cutting off camera with all of these wafer dies. Just went through my stash and pulled out like scraps and all the, random colors. And then just did a little die cutting marathon while I think it was while I was watching one of Tim Holtz's videos. Highly recommend. I say this a lot in videos, like watch Tim Holtz videos. Tons of info, along with like all the other card makers videos, but all the info's there. So anywho, I started with the base of the crayon box that I die cut from bright yellow cardstock, and it pre-scores everything. So you just got to fold the flaps over and adhere them. You can use something like score tape if you're more comfortable. I've said this with other things. I am so much more comfortable now with liquid adhesive. That's just what I use. Plus, I find liquid glue never comes apart. Like once it's glued down, it's not going anywhere. So today I used Honeybee's Precision Glue. Simon's Craft Tacky Glue is another favorite. Any of the glues, they're going to work great. The biggest thing if you're using a liquid glue, you don't want to like blob on too much, especially when you're doing something where you're folding something together. Because just like envelopes, etc., if you use too much glue and it oozes out, you basically end up gluing the whole thing closed. So again, I'm comfortable with the glue, so I'm not glopping it on, but things like score tape, strong double-sided tape, that would work as well. So I made 3 of them. So I did the base first, and then I die cut the little like embellishments, to make them a crayon box from some green cardstock, and adhered those to the bottoms of all of these. Again, just like doing my sort of mass production method. Do everything at once. I did all my die cutting at once. I'm doing all my assembling at once. It makes things go smoother. It just makes life easier. For the main sentiments, I was using the special teacher. I have the stamp set, which is still available at this wafer die set. I don't think it is. Apologies. I will link to some alternatives though. There's a really cute waffle flower teacher set that came out recently. Really anything is going to work. I just wanted a large teacher word with, of course, the red to go with that certain brand of crayons. So with these, I just die cut white, black, and red cardstock and layered them together. And then the crayons are from the crayon box set. So those I die cut. I just grabbed basically a lighter shade and a darker shade of each color. So I did the crayon piece from the darker and then the wrap from the lighter. This I kept simple. You could stamp sentiments on these, all the things. The sky's the limit. But again, I kept them simple mostly because I was running out of time. I needed to get these made so that I could get them sent with the kids to give to other teachers. So again, I adhered them all. I did, of course, rainbow colors. And then I have my base that I'm going to adhere them all to. This is also from the crayon box. That I cut from Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. And then I used a wafer die set that cuts little gift card slots. And I'm going to run these through so it will cut those little notches to hold a gift card. And again, the set I'm using, I don't think is available anymore, but I'll link to a similar one. Obviously, they're all fairly similar because gift cards, at least in North America, are the same size. People have asked me that. I don't know what size gift cards, that sort of thing are in other countries, but I know in North America, they're basically the same size as a credit card. So I die cut those notches, set all that aside, and then I just stamped a little thank you sentiment from the special teacher set onto more red cardstock. And I used my mini Misty and my anti-static powder tool, stamped the sentiments with clear embossing ink, coating them with detail white embossing powder. Did this 3 times, so I have 1 for each of them. And it just says thank you. So after those were stamped, covered with the detail white embossing powder, melting that with my heat tool so that they're all smooth and melted. And then I'm going to trim these with my paper trimmer. That's also why I used my MISTI, made sure the sentiments were straight so I could just trim them with my paper trimmer. If I wasn't going to use my paper trimmer, I would have used, you know, sentiment wafer dies, that sort of thing, just so they'd be cut into nice little banners. But more often than not, it just works to stamp them straight, whether you're heat embossing them or not, and then trim them with my paper trimmer. So I got those stamped, trimmed those down, and now I basically have like the entire elements for all of these. So it's just a matter of finishing the assembling process. So I've got my, what I call the base. I think in my other video I did on these, whenever it was, I think I had made this an actual like card. But for this, I just have this one piece, but it's got the gift card slots cut into it. So when I'm adhering the crayons on top, I'm making sure, like this yellow crayon and the green one, I'm making sure not to glue over where those little gift card notches are. Because when I'm done, I'm going to flip this over and I'll show you guys how I, you know, have it hold the gift card. So if I put glue behind that, it would just glue it down and make it useless. So I made sure to put glue everywhere but where those little gift card notches are. So the front of this little insert is going to have the crayons, and then on the back it'll hold the gift card, plus I'll be able to write a message before I put the gift card into place. And again, you could add a stamp sentiment, all of that stuff. Like, you could really build it up, do what works. So I've got all my little crayon inserts done. So I'm going to adhere the sentiments to, this is basically the envelope. So I'm going to adhere that with liquid glue. So all of them say thank you, teacher. And then the crayons will be inserted. And since I couldn't deliver these myself, I had to send them with my kids, protocols this year, all that sort of thing. I wanted to make sure they knew that these crayons came out. So I took my little Lawn Fawn push here stamp set, and I chose little sentiments that said pull here and a little arrow pointing down. And I stamped that on the inside of the flap so that when it lifts up, they'll see that you need to pull those crayons out, and then they'll get the gift card and the message I wrote. So just to make sure, because sometimes you just never know. So I did that, and then I've got my little Starbucks gift cards. So that'll be held in place, and then I can write a message. And I didn't have time to take pictures or show. I should have. I actually delivered these. I used some A2 sized clear bags. I'll link to the ones I used that are self-adhesive. So I had these with the gift cards, my messages, and then I sealed them in those bags. And then I put a label over the seal with the teacher's name, just to keep everything in place, you know, make sure my kids knew who to deliver it to, that sort of thing. And these were just quick and simple and cute. I hope that gives you some inspiration. It's just a fun way to, you know, deliver a gift card, because I hate doing like just boring, you know. I'm a card maker. You gotta make it cute. And all these things just went together so well. And I was even able to get like teacher themed Starbucks cards, which I thought was really fun. So like I said, I will link to what I used as well as alternatives for some of the things. You can check that out in the description box below the video, as well as on my blog. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned. I'll be back very soon with another video. Bye.